Hey guys, what's going on? My name's Cole Schmidt. This is a single review for my Music 320 course, Rock and Roll History through Western Kentucky University. I hope you're going to learn something today, and this should be a lot of fun. So my single is Elton John's Rocket Man. Rocket Man was recorded in January of 1972. It was released as a single, obviously, on March 3rd of 1972, and Rocket Man was a part of the album that was released, the Honky Chateau, on May 19th of 1972. There was a lot of contributors who worked on Rocket Man and the Honky Chateau. The co-writer and main lyricist that helped with these projects was Bernie Taupin. We'll talk more about Bernie Taupin in a little bit. And the main producer was Gus Dudgeon. If we go into some chart information for Rocket Man had 13 consecutive weeks on the UK's Top 50s single chart. Of those 13 consecutive weeks, it had 8 weeks of Top 20. It had 5 consecutive weeks of Top 10, and Rocket Man maxes out at number 2 during its 13 week consecutive span. And then if we go over to the US, Rocket Man maxes out at number 6 in the top 100 charts for Billboard in the US. So some interesting facts and inspirations. Rocket Man is ranked 245th in the Rolling Stones list of top 500 greatest songs of all time. That is of 2010. And talking about inspirations, Rocket Man had several inspirations. You have to remember the world had just come off this amazing high of the space race between the US and the USSR. Just everyone was enamored by space travel, sci-fi, fantasy. It encaptured people. And in 1970, there was a song that came out that was also called Rocket Man. So Elton John's Rocket Man came out in 1972. So that had some definite influence in the song. It tells two different stories, but Elton John's notoriety most likely helped his become more successful. Bernie Taupin, as we mentioned earlier, was the co-writer and lyricist for the album and Rocket Man the song. He was happening to read a book called The Rocket Man, written by Ray Bradbury. That is arguably the most significant contributor to the song. And then again, just in general, airplanes, shooting stars, anything sci-fi and otherworldly was a key contributor to this song. An internet presence. In 2017, Rocket Man had its official music video release. In 1972, it did not have a music video. So in 2017, we have the illustrated story of the Rocket Man and his internal conflict. He doesn't want to leave his wife and kids, but he also has to go do his job. He has to be an astronaut and go to Mars, but Mars is no place to raise your kids, if you remember the song. And more recently, Elton John has a movie release called Rocket Man. And I think that speaks volumes to what Elton John thinks of that song and what the world thinks of that song. Elton John has countless other hits, and if you're going to pick one and you pick Rocket Man, that says a lot about what everyone thinks about that one song. And then why is this song interesting to me? My dad had a work study in his office, and she had a part-time job at a record or a radio station. And she calls my dad and says, "What's one song you'd want to hear?" And we just happened to be together, and he asked me, and I can't really explain why, but I chose Rocket Man. I was young. It came to me, and I wanted to hear that song. I think that says a lot about the song, that it can transcend generations I wasn't even a thought of in 1972. So it's like all music, songs can bring people together, and that's just an interesting story I have about Rocket Man. So thanks for listening, and I hope you all have a good day.